I'm here with Kevin Metz, the heavy-duty engineer for Ram, and we're looking at the 2014 new air suspension that they have on this 3500. Pretty cool. It's MrTruck. So can you explain how that works, Kevin?
Yeah, sure, no problem. We offer an optional air suspension on both our 2500 and our 3500 pickup truck. The 2500, with our new link coil suspension, we basically remove the multi-rate link coils that we have on the steel suspension, and we install, two airbags. So that design is pretty straightforward. It's an air suspension, rear air suspension, and it basically levels the rear end of your vehicle. We try to keep a 1 degree positive rake angle, so at normal height it's 1 degree. That gives the truck a real solid stance to it. And no matter what you put in the bed, it'll stay at that 1 degree, unlike a steel suspension where it'll, empty, it'll be over 2.5 degrees high, so that when you bring it all the way to GVW, you have enough suspension travel to do so. So when it's unloaded, you actually, if you compare the air suspension with the steel suspension unloaded, the air suspension is about 2 inches lower at the tailgate than the steel suspension, which gives you better ingress and egress into the bed. Now the 3500, a little different story, different approach. We kept the Hotchkiss suspension, so you still have the leaf spring suspension, but we added air assist to it. And so what we'll do here is we'll start adding some payload to this vehicle. Now this gooseneck hitch, or this gooseneck trailer, is about 17,000 pounds. So it'll drop about 4,500 pounds or so on the bed of this truck, and it'll move about 2.75 inches. So when we turn the engine on and we let the air suspension neutralize and understand where it is from a height position, it'll start increasing the pressure to the bag and start lifting the vehicle back up to center, or up to the 1 degree rake angle.
Well, that's awesome. Let's let it do its job. 2 different air suspensions, and it levels you out in 1 degree of upward rake, so it's a little bit slightly above level.
Yep.
And well, I guess that's going to be a big advantage to pinion angles, to headlight angles.
Oh yeah.
Because that's always a problem. A loaded truck sometimes is stargazing, and you can't really see the road, and they all flashing you.
Yeah, that's exactly why we looked at not only is it a great stance, but yes, you're exactly right. It keeps it that 1 degree rake angle, which gives you a good headlamp projection. You're not staring up at the sky. We do offer 2 modes. We offer the normal mode plus an alternate mode, or what I call trailer towing mode. It does bring the truck down to a level.
Okay, level. So yeah.
So that when you look at a truck down the whole length of truck and trailer, it's level from front to back. So that's one feature that you can impart if you're pulling a trailer.
Oh, and that's different than the 1 degree up.
Yeah, you can go 1 degree up, normal ride height,
okay.
Or an alternate mode would be level. I mean, from a 1 degree to to normal, not much of a rake angle difference, but from a perception perspective, it makes a difference.
And that's in tow mode that does it automatically?
No, we let the driver select that.
Oh, so
there's a button on the panel that you can press to go to alternate ride height.
And Kevin, this is we just saw this level out by taking the weight off from the trailer. And this is how the coil spring system works too. If you don't get the coil, you get the airbag.
That's correct. So what we did is we lowered the trailer down under the truck about 4,500 pounds. It went down, and then the air suspension, engine started, the air suspension kicked in and brought it right back up to the 1 degree rake angle. The 2500 with the link coil or the air suspension will do the same thing.
Okay, cool. So the standard suspension is a progressive coil on a 2500.
It's a multi-rate coil.
Well, that's good. I always thought that's what the half-ton option should have been, but that's awesome because you got to have something like that for more payload, more resistance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The payload on the 2500 link coil, it's nearing 4,000 pounds, so it's like 3970. So I mean, it's incredible payload. So there's no compromises with this link coil suspension.
You talk about axle disconnect. I know there used to be a vacuum disconnect way back in 2002 or whenever that was, and now you're going back to that. Is that in all the models?
No, it's not. It's not vacuum. It's actually electric.
Okay.
The transfer case module, the same module that manages our electronic transfer case, also manages the front axle disconnect solenoids. Yeah.
Oh, well, cool.
So it's all integrated.
I heard that gives you like a 1 mile to gallon improvement.
Roughly, yeah, roughly so.
Well, 1 mile to gallon on a big truck is a lot anymore.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah. It's a lot different. Is the biggest fuel tank on these trucks in a pickup truck only going up to 3,500? Is it 32 gallons? Okay. Kevin, what's the fuel tank capacities on these trucks now?
So our max fuel tank size is 32 gallons. So you need to be able to package, our urea def tank, right? So we had to cut down a little bit on our fuel tank from our old truck. But when you look at, the improvements in fuel economy that you get with urea SCR, as far as range goes, you're in that same ballpark that you were with the larger fuel tank. So a little bit of a trade-off there.
Okay, so the 8-gallon def tank and the 32-gallon fuel tank, so you got like 40 gallons. Well, if it gives you that kind of range, that's good. I love the gauge on there. That's a big deal. Somebody might have a gauge to tell you when it's kind of too late to get to Walmart to grab your next gallon of it.
Right.
That's good. I like that.
So we got an 8-gallon def tank on our chassis cabs. We've got a 5-gallon def tank on our pickup trucks.
Oh, these are 5-gallon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess that's what it is. So the way that the formula is, the size of the tank equals the size of the def tank. There's some kind of a relation between the two sizes.
It basically is where do you want to balance between offering range and fuel and range and DEF, right?
Okay.
So we kind of made that balance between trying to maximize the fuel tank size, but still offer a healthy amount of onboard def to push that interchange event out farther. So.
Okay, but was that an EPA regulation, like a formula? Okay.
No.
I like that the filler tank is with the other filler tank. They should all be together.
Yep.
That's a good concept. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
I know last year on the 1-ton you put that big, massive fork front link on there, which I really like because I've noticed, in 2010 you put the hydraulic mounts on the cab. Mm-hmm. That made a big ride improvement. Mm-hmm. And I noticed last year when I drove these 13s that made a big handling difference. And now that suspension is on everything up?
It's on the 2500 and it's on the 3500 chassis cab. What's really great about this front suspension, it's our new 3-link front suspension. The radius arms are 40 inches long, so they're about that tall. These things are massive. And what it does is it gives us, great roll stiffness. So what we're able to do with that is we're able to manage, payload, and so the vehicle is going to react against the payload as you go through a turn or an evasive maneuver, and it's able to transfer that load to as evenly as possible to all 4 corners of the truck. So you make use of all 4 tires and the traction on the road in all 4 tires. So certainly gives us that ability to go way up in our GVWs on our single rear wheel and our dually. You notice now our dualies are up to 14,000 pound GVW, as well as our single rear wheels are up to 12,000 pound GVW. So you mentioned back in 2010, well, that's 12,500 pound was our dually GVW back then, if you remember that. So great strides. So the 3-link was a big enabler, as well as all of the improvements we made to the 3500 frame and also the 2500 frame.
Well, that's great. That's always one of the complaints I hear is the handling of these bigger trucks, the ride and the handling. When you can fix that, everybody will love them to death because a lot of people stay away from the bigger truck for that unless they have to have it for a trailer. But the rest of us are used to that, but now that it's improving, it's just good.
Yeah, this the 3-link front suspension in combination with the link coil on 25, the ride is just absolutely incredible. You know, lateral isolation is great. The vehicle has a nice solid stance to it, both in a gas and a diesel application. So you're going to just love the heck out of these trucks when you get in them.
Awesome. Sounds great. Well, thanks, Kevin.
Thanks.
MrTruck.com for the Farm Journal, signing off. Jim had the radio antenna to put on his half-track. It also had the banner of the platoon it was with. The triangular banner was on the antenna. It's amazing to look at machinery that's 70 years old. This may be the original track. The front tires may be original. I mean, you're looking at differentials, you're looking at skid plates. All these things are pretty old. It's neat to see that how well they work. It's a great half track. It weighed over 14,000 pounds. We used it for ballast. When we did our brake test, me and PickupTrucks.com and MrTruck.com, we did the shootout called King of Beasts last summer. And we used this half track as our weight for our brake tests.